My name is Josh Beavers, and I teach junior and senior English at Lakeside Junior Senior High School. Recently, Ms. Banks and Ms. Hudson came to me and they asked me to talk to our stakeholders, make a video about the Tech Connect program, and that's what this is. I met with principals, teachers, and most importantly, students and parents via Google Meet. I did that so you can see how we communicate in this unprecedented time and how we're likely going to be able to communicate going forward, because one of the good things that happened with COVID is it made us step up, catch up to what school districts in other parts of the nation and world are doing. And we're doing that right here in Webster Parish. The things that teachers I see around me doing blow me away. I was lucky enough to be named Webster Parish High School Teacher of the Year last year, and one of the first teachers in a long time in Webster Parish to make it to the semifinal round of the state Teacher of the Year competition. But what I see other teachers, my peers, doing with technology and how they're engaging students virtually blows me away. So this video is broken up into 3 parts. First, I interviewed principals. Then the second portion is going to be teachers. And finally, the most important part, I'm going to talk to some students and parents about how they are handling the Tech Connect program at Webster Parish schools. Interspersed throughout the videos are going to be photos that our parents have sent in. I put out a call for parents to send in photos of their students at their workstations, and they responded. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the work that you do as a school board. Happy watching. Okay, so who's joining me here today?
My name is Tina Liao. I am the principal of the Doyling High School in Doyling, Louisiana.
Okay, well, why don't you tell the board members a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so this is my first year as principal at the Doyling High School. It's my 22nd year in education. I attended Louisiana Tech, where I received my Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education, and my Master's of Educational Leadership is also from Louisiana Tech University.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us here. I know that the board members are going to be interested to hear what you have to say. Always good to have a principal's perspective, because y'all are the ones, I think Shakespeare said, heavy lies the crown, so people don't really realize what a principal has to do until they're in those shoes. But I'm sure a lot of the board members may have been in those shoes before. Well, just like I've talked to everybody else, I said that we're more than halfway through our first 9 weeks of this new world. Some people are even calling it an experiment, trying to stay safe in this pandemic, that we haven't had anything like this in over 100 years in America and the world. So basically, can you give me just some opening thoughts about how you think that the Tech Connect and the in-person learning is going in this day and age?
Well, I think that this pandemic has improved the technology part of our school. I know for sure all of our kids have technology in their hands now. Our school is a little bit unique in that our virtual students are receiving their instruction from teachers across the district. And instead of here at our school, we have one teacher that's teaching the students here virtually, one class, but the others are at the other elementary schools, the middle schools, and the high schools. And the principals and the teachers there have been working together with me and our teachers to ensure that our students are getting everything that they need. And it has been an opportunity for me to learn about other staff members and other schools too.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I keep hearing about from, of course, all the teachers that I know and talk to, and the principals I've interviewed, and even some of the students I've interviewed for this project, is about this concept of Virtual Friday. And I know kind of Virtual Friday is something that's, I know that there's some people who are against it in the community. You know, they want their kids in school 5 days a week. But, you know, the importance of it is what I'm hearing from teachers and parents and even students who are virtual. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, about the concept of Virtual Friday?
Sure. So for us, we are using that time for the teachers at our school that are not virtual teachers to learn how to become a virtual teacher in case that were to ever be a situation again. They would not normally get that experience if we didn't have a Virtual Friday where they are having meeting times with their students and even parents if they need to. But they're getting accustomed to using the same tools that the virtual teachers at the other schools are using. And we're also in the afternoons able to use that time for small group meeting times for the teachers to meet with the students, but also for professional development meetings that we're not having to take away during the school week with our students. They're able to do those on Fridays too. So it is a huge benefit for especially for our small school and being pre-K through 12. It is a huge benefit for us to utilize that time. And every Friday is full. I've already started booking things for next Friday because this Friday is full.
From a teacher's, I'm sorry to interrupt. From a teacher's point of view, and I've actually interviewed, the way these things work is I interview somebody who may come later in the video, and then I put it together. So I've already interviewed one teacher, and board members, you're going to hear from her a little bit later in the video. But she was talking about Virtual Friday and the importance of how the teachers get together in their own subject areas from teachers all across the parish. And it's like I said, I didn't even realize, but that's something that we used to only do like twice a year. Right. And like in August and in January, and now we get to do it every week. And she talked about how important it was to make sure we're on the same page and see what might be working for somebody else and struggling. And I know that I've even, you know, your English 4 teacher, she and I have been communicating because this is the first time she's ever taught English 4, and it's just good. It's good. And can you elaborate a little bit on that? I
can, because at our school being even, you know, very small, we may only have, or we do only have like one third grade math teacher or one third grade ELA teacher. And they only have like the other 4th or 5th grade teacher to collaborate with, where now they're actually able to meet with other teachers because they don't have 2 math teachers here at Dwelling High School, say for 3rd grade. That's just an example. So I feel like this has helped even our district just become a team. Everyone is on the same page and working together, where we wouldn't have had that opportunity last year. I know we didn't. Last year was my first year here at Dwelling High School, and it was interesting to see, you know, for the teachers to not have anyone to collaborate with during the regular work week. Right. So,
and little things that, you know, that have. It's been a bad thing, of course, this pandemic, but little things are little bright spots, of course, and this is one of them. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned before we started actually the interview about a success story you wanted to share. So would you like to do that now?
Mm-hmm. So in keeping up with the virtual students, I have to just brag and say that the teachers that I've reached out to at many of the schools, just touching base with them on our kids, they have been very responsive. They let me know how our kids are doing. I had another one even email me yesterday and just follow up with me on another email that we had been conversing with about a student. But looking at that, when I do hear from the teachers, I check the students' grades, and there's been one student for sure. I've had more than that, but one that this student I was told last year that could perform academically, but some behaviors and things were maybe in the way, and now this student has straight A's in virtual learning. I've talked to the parents about it. I've bragged to the parents about the student, and they've also given, you know, high remarks for how things are going. So, you know, it is for some kids. It's not for all kids, but I'm seeing the ones that are doing it are having great success with it.
Well, that's great to hear. That really is, and I've heard the same thing from several other teachers. Yeah. It's just a good program. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
I'm thankful that I got this opportunity to share, and looking forward to the rest of the school year.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I know you're doing great things. Our neighbor to the
Yes, sir.
west, right? Yeah, west. I'm not a
Yes,
geography teacher, west.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you very much. Talk to you later.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so who am I here with this afternoon?
I am Gwinnetta Bradford. I'm the principal at Webster Junior High School in Sarepta.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Is there anything you want to tell the school board members about yourself?
Just want to say that I'm elated to take on this opportunity as interim principal here. It was not easy. I am not complaining, and I was down for it.
Excellent. Well, boy, you had a difficult transition, didn't you? From this your first time being the principal up there at the school with COVID and all that, trying to get ready for everything. And so, basically, just we're more than halfway into our first 9 weeks. And there were some, hiccups, of course, and everything seems to have been fixed, as far as I know. So just what are some general thoughts you have about how the school year is going, both at school and in the Tech Connect program?
Our Tech Connect program has been different, but very innovative way of learning for our students. It's been unorthodox for our teachers, but they have become acclimated to this non-traditional way of teaching. And everybody is pretty much on board and feel more comfortable with this platform.
Okay. So your teachers are kind of, I know, we have those meetings every week and the teacher ones, and I know the teachers have concerns and all that, but you up there in the Sarepta, you're getting a handle on it, right? The teachers?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, definitely.
Good.
What I tell them is to try to keep them motivated. Our cue is we need to look as if we've been doing this for 50 years. Mm-hmm. And that's what's resonating with us now. We are smooth sailing it like we've been doing this for 50 years now.
What about some of your parents? Like, have you had any feedback from the parents about the students that are on Tech Connect?
I have. Actually, one of my success stories comes from a parent who called just the week before we got out on break. Mm-hmm. And she called and she was just very happy and wanted to let us know that her child, through this platform of learning, has done a better job than in person. Mm-hmm. I think she just didn't think it would go as well, mm-hmm. but she has stayed the course. As our superintendent say, stay the course. This parent did, mm-hmm. and at the end of the day, she just wants to praise the teachers and tell them how her son has done an excellent job virtually.
Well, that's great. That's great. It's always good to hear great things. I know as a principal, I don't know. I'm not a principal, but what I see go through with the principal here at my school is that, you usually don't hear any good news as a principal. Principal is pretty much always bad news dealing with issues like that. So I know it's got to make you happy to receive that phone call.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, one of the big things that school board members are wondering about is the virtual Fridays. And, I definitely want to give principals an opportunity to talk about what you do on virtual Fridays and why they're important.
Okay. On virtual Fridays, like I have a schedule. Each of us have to create a schedule of what the teachers are going to be doing. Virtual Fridays are really what they say, virtual. Mm-hmm. The teachers have time slots to where they are becoming updated, more acclimated, and better informed of what they need to be doing and preparing for the next week or the next month or however long we keep this virtual platform. Mm-hmm. So those Fridays are used for them to better themselves and to figure out ways to better help the students.
Is there a lot of, I'm sorry to interrupt, I'm sorry. Is there a lot of interaction with the students?
It is. They prepare their one-on-one. They get a chance to meet with the parents, and they also have time slots where the students can come on and ask questions. They try to provide makeup work and stuff like that for the kids that just really probably had a hard time that week. So there's also time slots for that too. Each teacher has their own, and they let their students know that I'll be online from this time to that time. Feel free to jump on there.
Almost kind of like a college professor with office hours, huh?
Yes, they have office hours.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't have any more questions. Is there anything else you wanted to share with the board members?
I just want to say I am very, very proud that our superintendent, assistant superintendent, and all the supervisors got together and used what we have right here at Webster Parish to generate this platform of learning.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. It was good to talk to you. It's always good. If one thing we've gained from this is that we get to see each other. We never would, really get to see each other, but maybe like twice a year. Now we get to see each other all the time. Yeah. So, all right, it was good. I appreciate it, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, who am I here with today?
My name is Denny Finley. I'm the principal of Lakeside Junior Senior High School.
All right, Mr. Finley, why don't you tell the board members just a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in education?
This is my 23rd year in education, and might I say that it's a little different than the previous 22.
All right, well, Shakespeare said, I think Shakespeare, heavy lies the crown. A lot of people don't understand the kind of stuff that principals have to deal with until they get there. And so I know being a principal during this time has got to be even more. I don't want to use negative words, but it's got to be inventive, I guess. You know what I mean? So we're about halfway through the first 9 weeks. What is some of your impressions about how it's going, both at school and virtually?
Well, I'm a positive person, and so I like to look at the good things about the school year. And when we left last spring, there was a lot of uncertainty in the state of Louisiana and Webster Parish. Webster Parish, like most other parishes of the state, went to work and try to create a plan, and a lot of times didn't even know what direction that we needed to go in because we didn't know what the future held. And but looking back on it, I think Webster Parish put a good plan together, and I think a lot of great things have come out of the COVID pandemic. Let's take, for example, every kid having a Chromebook now. Right. And every teacher having a Google Classroom. And many of our teachers in Webster Parish being Google certified. The way I do announcements every morning now. Right. I do it through our Google Classroom where the kids can actually see me versus getting on the intercom system. Right. I can meet with my teachers through the Google Classroom. So I think if it were not for the COVID-19 pandemic, we might still be doing things like we've done it, for the last 20 plus years. Right. But we've got out of our comfort zone, and I think that we're reaching kids in a totally different way now. Good. Now also, we're reaching a lot more parents than we've ever reached before through the Virtual Friday, which is we're getting a lot of great results because they're pushing their own kids more because they're finding out things from the teachers, and they're understanding our procedures a lot more. Right. And I know, some teachers are like posting videos, like their lessons, even though you may have a class that's not virtual. Some teachers are recording that and posting it. I know Mr. Kamak does that, and it can help the parents understand what the kids are doing. So yeah, I mean it's a win-win if you ask me, and I know you agree. I think it's a game changer because now when we have ball teams that go out of town to play ball games in the future, or we have field trips that we plan where students will be out for several days, there's no reason for the student to miss an assignment because they all have Chromebooks and they can be working while they're away on the trip. Right. And if a teacher's out, they're teaching. It doesn't matter where they're at. They're still teaching. Is there anything in particular that's positive you wanted to share as far as this process goes? Any successes or anything you want to highlight? There are many successes, and we have many students that are thriving on the Tech Connect program. One student does come to mind. We have one student that he's never been a bad student, but he's extremely shy, and he's
he kind of just stays to himself. And a lot of times it makes it difficult in the regular brick and mortar setting for him to be comfortable.
Right.
But his plans are to go in the military after graduation. But he did enroll in the Tech Connect program, and he's thriving.
Great. All right. Well, Mr. Finley, I didn't have anything else to ask you. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I want to just say how much I appreciate the staff here at Lakeside, because there have been some issues. We're having to send kids home because we're following the CDC guidelines, and we're having to send students home. And we've had, at one time, we had I think 8 teachers that were actually in quarantine, and due to us following the CDC guidelines. And the teachers at Lakeside just rallied together and put the students ahead of themselves and filled in those slots, and we never missed a beat.
Right. Well, Mr. Finley, I appreciate it. And seeing as how you're the principal of Lakeside, I have one more question to ask. I forgot about this one. What day is it?
Mr. Beavers, it is a great day to be a Warrior.
Thank you, Mr. Finley. All right, so who am I with here this afternoon?
I'm Alexis Knott.
Okay. Where do you teach, Alexis?
I teach at J.A. Phillips Elementary School here in Minden, and I teach first grade.
All right, now, are you a virtual-only teacher, or are you a brick and mortar and virtual?
I'm 100% virtual and have been since day one.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're making this video for our board members, and they wanted just an idea about the Tech Connect program from the perspective of everybody involved in it. And so you've been selected as one of the teachers to talk about it. Well, what are some opening thoughts you have about the Tech Connect program?
The Tech Connect program, when it first came out, I was like, how is this going to work with first grade? And so with the things that happen and trying to get on my end and make it work for my first graders and teaching them computer skills virtually, we have come to a point where now it's really beneficial especially for those kids that their parents don't want them to come because of, I have a few that have illnesses that they don't want to come and be exposed for anything like that. And so it's working extremely well to assist those kids in still receiving a quality learning experience.
Okay. Excellent. Well, just some in general, what are some things that as a teacher you like about it?
As a teacher, I feel like teaching virtually with the individual intervention time that we have built into our schedules in the afternoons of Monday through Friday, we're able to sit down more one-on-one, whereas in the classroom, when you're having that one-on-one intervention, you still have 25 other kids running around the class, not necessarily running around the classroom, but moving around in the classroom. And so the individual intervention time is giving you that chance to really develop what that child needs. Because even in small groups, so my schedule's I teach EL in the morning, and then I teach small groups, then I teach math, and then I teach math small groups. And so even there, we're clustering them as best we can, so where they kind of all fit together. In the individual portion, we're able to meet those kids even more, like fine tune or get down to like the nitty gritty of what do you need that you're not getting in your small group. Even though I'm teaching you where you can now understand, I can go down or I can go slightly up to push those kids closer towards, even in first grade, having a mastery ability to be able to learn and show success.
All right, well, that's excellent. Sounds like it's going great. Well, from the teacher perspective, well, how are the students doing?
The students are doing surprisingly well. Like I said earlier, with first grade, I was so worried, how do we get them to read through a computer, and how do I get them to write when I even forgot to send home lined paper for them, because in first grade, we're teaching them to form their letters. So we didn't even have lined paper, so it's like, how do I troubleshoot that? And so for me, and even for our other virtual teachers here, it's going exceptionally well considering all that we thought that it would be. So for the students, more so the issues that we do have are toggling on on the virtual side, but they're still able to. We sent home decodable readers, and so they're still able to receive where they have the hands-on materials and they are able to have everything that you would in the classroom, but just in a virtual thing. And so specifically, like I can think of one child that at first they were like, this is not going to work. And so like I sent out a Google form to see like, is this are you enjoying the Tech Connect? Is there anything I can do that can better serve you? And so by sending out that one thing, we were able to pinpoint areas that needed to be fixed. And so then I go in, and so I now know while I'm teaching, I can provide that extra instruction, even though it was just because that child needed it, but it's benefiting everyone else. So it's it's going exceptionally well for them, is basically in all aspects. Even they're learning their technology, like how to use technology. They're learning their basic things for first grade and all of those things.
Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. Well, I'm glad that it's going so well for you. And is there anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
I just hope that they do keep this around, the learning virtually for all of our kids, for those that it doesn't work for them to come in. And I think that everything that we've done through like training and stuff like that, where Miss Christy Sheffield has been training us, I think it's every 2 weeks that we meet, and she provides instruction and then different things, all of the, I guess, like training and things like that. I think that is great. As long as those are there to train our teachers and to train different people that need it, I think that this has been such a successful program in only 5 or 6 weeks.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And again, I know the board appreciates all the hard work you're doing. I'm speaking on their behalf. I'm not on their behalf, but for them, but I imagine they do. And I said, again, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And we'll close out now. All right? All right. Who am I here with this afternoon?
You're here with Elder Moore. I'm teacher here at Lakeside. I teach 9th and 10th grade civics.
Are you now, Coach Moore, are you a virtual teacher or a brick and mortar teacher?
I actually teach both. My first block is civic, is virtual, and brick and mortar is my second and third block.
All right, so you're just a civics teacher. You teach civics virtually, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the freshmen.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Have some sophomores.
Oh, okay. Now we're about, more than halfway through our first 9 weeks. And, we had some issues with the virtual learning at first, but everything seems to be working out a little bit better. So why don't you just tell me some initial thoughts about how you think it's going?
I think it's starting to progress on a daily basis. Everybody, even the teachers, students as well, are getting better with how to operate the new transition. I think the best asset for me has been working the Edgenuity tool. It's a domain that allows students to learn from wherever they have the opportunity to access the lessons from home, school, or wherever they may be, and that's been a great benefit for me.
Okay. Now on this Edgenuity you mentioned, I've looked at it and I've used a little bit of it for English classes. Is that kind of set up, the things that they read and learn about the same as they would in a normal civics class?
Right. So it's based off the LA Louisiana curriculum. So everything that they would learn in a traditional setting, they learn through Edgenuity.
Okay. And
the great thing about the brick and mortar is they also have Edgenuity and me as well to help them learn hands-on.
Okay.
So that's a big positive for them, especially in civics.
Okay, excellent. So you haven't, I know this is not your first year teaching, so it hasn't been there hasn't been any drop-off between how you teach, right?
No, sir. It's actually been a more positive aspect on my end, because now it's not just my brain that's helping the students. I have other resources and tools to help them learn as well.
That's great. All right, so you talked about the students. We talked about what you like about it. What do you think? How do you think it benefits them, the virtual?
I think it benefits them because, of course, with the circumstances that we have going up now due to the COVID, they have access to school without actually being at school. So the great access to the internet I think is such a great benefit for them, because it allows them to not be behind. It allows them to continuously get their work done, continuously learn, because they have access to everything as if they were at school.
Okay. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I just want the world to know that it's always a great day to be a warrior.
That's awesome. Great to be a warrior. I always have pride because we're talking to a Lakeside teacher. And also, board members, I wanted to point out that Mr. Coach Moore here just yesterday was named Greater Minden Chamber one of the 15 under 40 for this year. So we're very happy for you and very proud of you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, who am I here with today?
Christina Smith.
All right, Miss Smith, where do you teach at and what do you teach?
I teach at Webster Junior High, and I'm a social studies teacher, Louisiana history.
Okay, so do you teach brick and mortar and virtual or just virtual?
Mainly virtual. I teach the honors class, so brick and mortar too.
Okay. All right. Well, we're about we're more than halfway through with our first 9 weeks, and we had a few hiccups. At least at Lakeside, I know we had at the beginning, so I'm sure we did everywhere else. But now that that's kind of got squared away, what are just some initial thoughts you have of the Tech Connect program?
I like it. It's been an adjustment for I know for me and for coworkers. I think because of course, we're used to being brick and mortar all the time, so having to learn how to adjust our time, grades, interactions with the students through the computer has been a big adjustment, but it's also been fun. Mm-hmm. It's a new learning experience, and you just have to adjust as a teacher and just keep moving forward. Excellent.
Was there anything specific that you like about it?
Specific. I like that I have some students who are normally in the classroom, because my classes can run about 27 to 33 strong. And so I like that students who normally can get lost in the chatter, they're more focused in the virtual aspect because sound is turned off, they're at their house, and they're focused on just me and those little squares that are on the computer. They can't holler out, they can holler out loud, but they're pretty good about, raising their virtual hand, hitting the sound bar, where normally if they were in classroom, they'd be, vying for attention. Right. So I think it's, in some aspects, it's helped some of my students that need the quietness for learning.
All right. Well, Ms. Smith, like I said, we did have some hiccups across the district, but we got those for the most part, I think, taken care of. And I know the district put a lot of work into it. And as far as the teachers go, a ton of teachers had never used Google Classroom before. So how has the district helped us in this transition?
I feel like the district helped us, and the first few weeks was very fast and frustrating, but I think that they've done really well in trying to stay connected with us, especially at the beginning of the school year with Virtual Fridays, where we would connect with Christy Sheffield. And I really liked how she tried to bring us together and just, ask questions so that we could pepper each other with answers, because there were lots of areas that we were struggling in, and we were able to collaborate as a district-wide team in helping each other. And I like on Virtual Fridays where I have to connect with the 8th grade Louisiana history teachers parish-wide, and we get together and discuss, routines and outcomes and curriculums. And so I think they've helped. It's not perfect, but it's working. And again, it's just a matter of us just staying in touch with each other and talking with each other and moving forward.
Yeah, I like what you said about Virtual Friday, and that's something that I forgot to mention when I was doing my talk, is about Virtual Friday, the aspect of that time after we have our faculty meetings and all that, but that time that we get together, and of course we call students, parents, and all that, but then we have a carved time out to where we work with other teachers across the parish in our grade. And it's something that we would only do like 2 times a year before. And now we can do it every week. So that's great. That's great. That's an important part of this week is that virtual Friday.
Yeah, and it helps build parish-wide leadership and teamwork and collaboration. And I think as teachers, we need that. We need to know that we can rely on each other, not just in our school community, but in our parish community. We need each other.
Excellent. All right. Well, I didn't have any other questions. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I do not. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
You have a good day, Josh.
You too. Me again, Mr. Beavers. And I want to talk a little bit about from the teacher perspective, my own perspective of how this has been going on. Here at Lakeside, myself and Mr. Kamak. Mr. Kamak's actually the real pioneer on all this stuff. Started using Google Classroom about 3 years ago. And I didn't want to do it. He kept pushing me towards it. And he kept telling me how the benefits of it and all the different things that you could do. And once he finally showed me, and once I actually just said, okay, I'm going to try it, I was sold, hook, line, and sinker. And I completely changed my ways and my way of thinking, and I realized how powerful and how efficient it was. And so when all of this started with the pandemic, we were in a place to where, excuse me, we could move forward. And our other teachers are doing that now because we were already in a position to where we were forward thinking, and all of our other teachers are doing that now across the district. And the way the parish and the central office has sold out to helping us and giving us the tools we need, it's not comparable to anything I could imagine happening anywhere else in the nation. Here in Webster Parish, the things that we're doing. The one-on-one interaction you can have with the students on Virtual Friday is amazing. I meet every week with students on Friday virtually who need help with something that they don't understand. And even here with our brick and mortar students, I'm looking at my classroom right now, and in some classrooms they're not socially distanced because, you know, if you have 35 kids in a class, it's impossible to socially distance them. So you do the best you can to the best extent possible. But still, as a teacher, you can't go up to their desk and help them with a math problem, or you're going to be there for a while, or you can't help them write an essay. You can't. But what you can do is, on Virtual Friday, you can have that student come and have a Google Meet and talk to one another, just like I've been in these videos, and you still get that one-on-one connection that is lost, whether you're brick and mortar or virtual. The way we communicate with students, it's a cliche, and people say the word revolutionize a lot, but it is 100% true when it comes to Tech Connect. Virtual. It is the future, but again, the cliche, the future is now, it is true here. I am so proud to be a part of a school and a system that is not ducking its head and just saying everything will go back to normal. Because even if and when things do go back to normal, we have made all of this progress and these inroads to where maybe we shouldn't go back to normal. And maybe, just maybe, we should continue to do all the things that we're doing here because it makes education more efficient. You still have the one-on-one time. You aid discipline problems. So many things that you just may not think about, all aided and maybe even solved because of virtual learning in Google Classroom. Thank you. All right, hey, who am I here with this afternoon?
Hello, my name is Shanti Cooper.
And where do you teach and what do you teach, Ms. Cooper?
I teach third grade math for the Tech Connect program, and I actually teach boys and girls from Brown Upper Elementary in Spring Hill and also Central Elementary in Minden.
All right, well that's pretty neat. So we're about, and I'm gonna come back to that. That's pretty interesting. I keep forgetting because I teach high school that the elementary teachers are different in some ways. We're halfway into the we're more than halfway into the 9 weeks. I think November 6th is when the first 9 weeks ends. And, I know we had some hiccups at the beginning, but at least at Lakeside, everything seems to be kind of resolved. So what are just some general thoughts you have about how the Tech Connect program's going?
Well, just like you said, Josh, at first we had a couple of hiccups, technology, internet, all those different things. But right now, I do feel that the boys and girls who are in the Tech Connect program, they're going with the flow now. They know how to log in on time. They know how to do their assignments in Google Classroom. We're starting to venture out into other platforms to do our lessons. So it's kind of like we're getting into the swing of things now.
Excellent, excellent. Well, what are some things that you really like about Tech Connect?
One thing that I do like about Tech Connect is the technology part. It's real easy for the boys and girls to get on Google Classroom, look at their classwork. It's more so that they have class with me, but it's also self-paced. I do like the availability for my boys and girls to email me and say, hey, Ms. Cooper, I have a question. And we get directly on a Google Meet. Matter of fact, I just got off a Google Meet with a student who's exceptional needs and needs help with their assignment. So I'm able to pull my screen up and pull his screen up, and we're actually able to actually see his work and do it live so he can keep up with the class. The other thing I like is that the boys and girls are more comfortable in their own environment. They're not embarrassed to answer questions because they're at home, they're comfortable. They're getting to know each other every day. This morning, I had my boys and girls say, good morning, good morning. They're typing in the chat box. They're having those conversations. And so I'm really starting to see how them being in the comfort of their home is allowing them to actually kind of grow and learn in a comfortable environment. So
you think that they seem to really like the program?
Yes, I think they like the program. I think they like the availability that I think is neat to them, especially little third graders. Yeah. I think it's just neat. They can hit a button and all of a sudden they're connected to 20 people at one time and their teacher, and they're still at home.
Right. One thing that I keep hearing from the teachers I do talk to is this idea of students. They seem to be paying more attention than what they might do in class, and because they don't have an issue of distraction, because like I know at all levels, because from your level all the way up to mine, which I teach the oldest kids, there's just certain elements in a classroom when you're all together like that, there's distraction and kind of hard to keep together. And so you say that they seem to really like the idea that they're more focused with you.
Yes. Yes, and sometimes like dealing with the Tech Connect, especially in with some boys and girls, it's like you have your own personal teacher right there. So you don't have to worry about interruptions from the other boys and girls in the class, especially those parents who took time out to. I've seen some very creative classrooms at home. And so especially those boys and girls who have their own little personal classrooms, it's like they have their own personal tutor. And so they're real focused. They're able to answer questions and get immediate feedback, especially using the chat feature. So everyone's actually able to have a voice during class, whereas in the classroom, you have to wait on someone to raise their hand and answer it. So they really like that part.
Well, I never really thought about what you just said. It is like a one-on-one type teacher situation. That's pretty neat. Never thought about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you wanted to tell us before we sign off?
No, I would just like to thank Webster Parish for the opportunity to allow me to tread these new waters with the Tech Connect program. Like you said, Josh, we did have a couple of bumps in the road at the beginning, but one of the highlights was I had a parent dojo me the other day and tell me how much their child is progressing from being in the program and actually able to get that one-on-one experience. And I think the parents are learning too, because now they're actually able, the ones who are involved are actually able to sit in the class. And so now they understand how the learning process goes in the classroom. Whereas, before their child comes home from school with some homework or some materials. They're like, well, I don't know what to do.
Right.
But now that they're able to sit in the classroom
Mm-hmm.
and see how we're teaching the material, it's like now they have an understanding of how to help their child.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a parent had mentioned that to me. She's like, I get it now. And I think that's one of the, I think you can't put a price on
Right.
that experience of the parents actually being able to say, I can finally help my child
Right.
because now I know how you're teaching
Right.
the lesson.
Well, hopefully, saying that, I mean, I have a daughter as well, two daughters, and one's a freshman at Minden High School, and she's struggling with math. And it's not, algebra is not taught the way that it was taught to me, and so it's kind of difficult for her. And I was thinking that maybe she could watch a virtual algebra teacher teach that. That's something that we could do in the future, growing this out, this opportunity. Everyone could record their classes in case there's questions at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And I know the board is thankful that we have such energetic teachers up there on the north end and everywhere in the parish.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for interviewing me.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. I have with me a student who's going to talk about Tech Connect, learning at home. So, young lady, what's your name?
Trinity.
Trinity. Okay, Trinity. Where do you go to school at?
St. Phillips.
All right. And also here with me, she's a familiar face. Board members, you've seen her before. She was in one of our earlier videos. Who else am I with?
Alexis Knott.
All
I'm
right.
a first grade teacher at J.P. Phillips.
All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Knott, for coming back with us. So, Trinity, why, if you can tell me, why are you learning from home instead of going to the actual school?
Because of coronavirus.
Coronavirus, huh? Yeah, it might be. You're being safe, that's for sure. Got to stay safe. Make sure nobody gets sick. Make sure those you love, your parents, grandparents, all of them people doesn't get sick. Well, what do you like about it? Do you like learning on the computer at home?
Uh-huh.
What about it do you like? Can you tell me?
That we get to see each other.
Oh, okay. So you're still getting to see your friends, right? Okay, and being a little silly sometimes. All right. How's Miss Knott doing? You like Miss Knott's class?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Well, Trinity, I'm very happy that you're happy. And I know you have an excellent teacher there, and Miss Knott. And I don't have anything else to ask you. Did you want to tell me anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, Trinity, thank you so much. And I know you're going to keep doing well. And when you get to be a big high schooler, I might teach you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Trinity. Okay. All right. Afternoon, y'all. Who am I talking with today?
My name is Isaiah Love.
Okay. Is that your sister back there?
Uh-huh.
My name is Isis Love.
All right. Isaiah, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade,
And what school do you go to?
Lakeside.
All right. Isis, what about you? What grade are you in?
3rd.
And what school do you go to?
Central.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for being here today. And Mom, what's your name?
Hey, my name is Amber Terrell.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mom, Miss Terrell, for you and your children being on here today and talking to the school board members about the Tech Connect program. Because, one of the main things that they've been wondering is how are the students doing? What do they think about it? So I guess the first thing I'd want to ask is why did y'all choose to enroll in the Tech Connect, the virtual school program?
I chose to enroll my children in the Tech Connect program because of the coronavirus and just for them to stay safe. But being as though we've started and I can see their progress, I really enjoy it.
Okay.
Now, I can say Tech Connect isn't for every parent and it isn't for every student, but being as though I'm self-employed, it works really good for me.
Okay.
And, and the children were able to move around if need be. I'm able to be more involved with their schoolwork. I'm able to stay on it because it's like more hands-on with me.
Okay. Well, what are some things that you like about it? Is there anything that you like about it? Maybe the actual teaching methods. Is there anything that you like about that?
I like the actual teaching methods because it seems like it's more of a one-on-one and it's not as much distraction.
Okay.
And so I could tell that they're more involved and they are really paying attention with the Tech Connect versus being in the classroom and all of the children are, it's easy to be distracted, being around 20, 30 other children. So,
well, like I said, I teach the oldest kids, I teach the seniors, and still when you have a classroom full of them, it's still distracting. So I can only imagine the younger students. Well, kids, what do y'all like about it?
Well, when my mom first told me about it, I really wasn't feeling it. But when I started, I grew to like it.
Okay. What about you, Isis?
I like it because it helps my mom see what I'm doing and if I get more good grades. Okay.
Excellent. So y'all's grades are good on this?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. We're just a few weeks in. We got a lot more to go. But if we kept the Tech Connect program, like if this is something that became permanent, is this something you think you would keep your children enrolled in, or would you want to send them back, even if Corona? And this is totally. Would you want to send them back, or would you want to keep them on virtual?
To be honest, Mr. Beavers, I would. Right now, I would, even after the Corona is over, I really like the Tech Connect program. So I think that I would basically stick with it for now because I don't think they're missing out on any interaction with other children. Being as though the neighborhood that we live in, they're still able to go out and have that interaction. So they're really not missing out on anything.
Okay. Well, again, unless y'all had anything else you wanted to tell me, I greatly appreciate y'all being a part of this. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No. Is there anything that you wanted to say? You, Isis? No.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much. And I look forward to teaching your children in a few years.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. Who am I here with this afternoon?
I'm Kaylin Washington.
And what grade are you in, Kaylin?
I'm in the 11th grade.
Oh, okay. You're a junior?
Yes, sir.
You be in the grade I teach. And where do you go to high school at?
I go to Minden High School.
Okay, excellent. All right, so we have a Minden Crimson Tider here, a junior, probably going to be reading The Great Gatsby before long. Awesome. With Mr. Dillon, I'd imagine. So why are you in the Tech Connect program?
Me personally, I feel like it's safer for me to be at home because I do have some pre-existing conditions like asthma, so I'm a little bit in the zone for danger, so I decided to stay home.
Okay. All right. Well, do you like it?
So far, I do because somehow it's a little bit easier because I'm just on the computer. I don't have to, be in class as much.
Don't have to deal with the distractions of some of the other students and things of that nature. No, I get it. I've heard that a lot. So you like it, and you don't have to be in class as much. How are your teachers doing? Are your teachers communicating well with you?
Yes, sir. They are. They're using Google Classroom a lot, and some are using Remind, some aren't. But I know a lot of them are using Google Classroom, and I'm being able to communicate with them through there, and it's very nice.
Okay. Do you ever feel like like one of the things that our school board members and not just them, but parents all across America are kind of concerned about is when kids are at home, they don't really have as much connection, social interaction with their friends and everything. Do you still get to see your friends and things like that and talk to them and everything?
Well, I talk to my friends through the internet, social media, and I am in Louisiana, so I get to go see them and go to games and interact safely. Okay. So I do get to see them.
So that's good. So you're still taking advantage of like extracurricular events and things. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good because that's important. That's very important. All right. Well, we talked about your thoughts about it, how you felt, your teachers. It's good. I'm glad to hear that it's going so well for you. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Nothing much other than really I'm glad that you asked me to be here and to talk about it. And I'm glad that everybody's being safe in person and virtually. And I'm just glad to go to school.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate it. And I know the school board members who are going to be watching this are going to appreciate it, and happy to see that we have such well-educated and good students in our schools. All right. Thank you. All right. Hey, who am I here with this afternoon?
Nathan Bertzong.
All right, Nathan, thank you for joining me. Where do you go to school at, and what grade are you in?
I go to North Webster Junior High, and I'm in 8th grade.
Okay. Well, why are you a Tech Connect student? Why are you enrolled virtually?
Well, originally, just to try it. I mean, my parents wanted me to do it, and I said sure.
Okay. So, I mean, did it have anything to do with, as far as like, was it like a safety thing, or do you think it was just a different way to learn and that interests you?
I think that it was something that they had to set it up legally because people couldn't go to school, and they had to do something because school year was about to be over.
Okay, so you just went ahead, just in case there was an issue. You wanted to they wanted to make sure there wasn't any issues with your learning. That's good. That's very, very forward thinking of them. Well, how do you like it so far?
It's okay. I'm doing fine. I enjoy it.
You enjoy it? How's it different than normal school?
Well,
I mean, I know it's different than normal school because you're not around actual kids, but I'm talking about the learning.
I mean, it's different because like you got kids around you, but you can concentrate better without kids around you.
That's what I've heard. How are the teachers doing with it?
Well, there's some teachers that are struggling. Some teachers that are doing good. I mean, all my teachers are doing just fine, in my opinion.
You think so? That's good.
Yes,
now, as far as like you think you're receiving like a good education, just like you'd be receiving it if you were at school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we talked about things you like, the distraction thing. I know, 8th grader. I know at all levels because I teach seniors, but I know at all levels that the actual school can be distracting. But it seems like junior high might actually be the most distracting, and so that's good. I'm glad that you enjoy that, getting this opportunity to learn in a more constructive environment, and hopefully that'll translate to even better grades and test scores and ACT and college and beyond. If we talked about that, do you think you might go back to regular school? If this stays permanent, do you think you would go back to regular school, or you keep doing what you're doing?
I think I'd go back to regular school.
You think you go back to regular school?
I'm not saying that I don't like it or anything, but the human interaction and staying at home and stuff is just like, it gets tiring.
It's funny because I've talked to several students for this, and some of them say that they probably would go back, and some of them say that they wouldn't, and so that's good. That's why it's an option, and that's why with COVID it's good, and who knows where it'll go from there. So, but
there's a lot of different opinions on it.
Well, I appreciate you being honest with me. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, sir. Thank you for the interview, and thank you for the election, I guess, principal.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me here, and I'm sure the school board's going to be happy to see that we have such excellent students at all ends of the parish. All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, so who am I here with this afternoon?
My name is Chloe Giovingo. I'm a senior at Minden High School.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, Chloe. It's very good. We've gotten perspectives of students of all ages, and so it's good now to get a senior's perspective because, one of the things that, in my opinion, that, seniors may have felt like, our senior year was robbed because of, all of this crazy stuff. So I guess with that in mind, tell me why you decided you wanted to do virtual learning.
I personally decided to do virtual learning because I saw it as a risk if everyone went back to school with COVID still being so
such new and dangerous, right?
Yeah. And so my parents and I talked about it, And we all decided that it'd be like good for me to stay away from big crowds and all that, because I really don't want to put them at a risk.
Yeah.
Because I just would feel terrible if I was to get COVID and then spread it. And there's no telling how many people have it right now, and they're going to school and spreading it. So I just decided, because I just don't want to.
You don't want to be the cause of somebody else suffering. You know, you maybe, I know they say that it doesn't affect young people as much, but still it does. It has killed some young people. So, but you're being responsible, and I appreciate that. Now, also, it seems how you're doing this, and I guess we're about 6 weeks in, 5, 6 weeks, something like that. How's it going for you?
It's going pretty well. I mean, my grades are good. It's not that hard to learn how to do all this, because I'd like to say that I'm okay with a computer. So it wasn't really that hard to adapt to having school online or anything. It's basically the same thing as being in a classroom. You're just not there in person.
Okay.
You don't get left out or anything, and you still get the same work, and you still take the same tests. So. Right.
Well, I know that one thing, one of the biggest things that, you know, that I've read and heard other people say is because this isn't just a Webster Parish thing. This is like all over the nation, probably all over the world. But one of the issues is they were concerned about, you know, socialization for young people. Are you still talking to your friends and things like that?
Oh, yes, sir, I am. Actually, my internet at my house isn't quite that good.
Right.
So I go to one of my friend's house to do online school.
Right.
She goes to work, though, so, I mean, it's quiet. It's a nice place for me to go.
Yeah.
But I do still socialize. I still go out, and I'm actually planning on going to the senior homecoming. So it didn't affect my social life at all.
So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yes, sir.
One of the other teachers that I've talked about how, especially, you know, in your age, the older students, even like from, you know, freshmen or even maybe junior high, this idea of online classes and things like that is definitely prepping you for college, you know?
Oh, yes, sir.
Because when I was in college, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to tell an old man story, but you go ahead. Nobody wants to hear the old man story. I want to hear your story. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, I mean, most people do take online classes at college at some point, so it really does help get you, you know, ready for that.
Okay. Well, Chloe, did you have anything else you wanted to tell me?
No, other than that, I mean, online school really isn't that bad, and I kind of feel like with how things are going right now, how many cases are popping up and everything, I kind of have a feeling that everybody's going to be virtual soon.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, you know, students, I mean, I know at Lakeside we've had issues, and other schools we have, and I'm sure Minden High is no exception. So you're ahead of the curve by going and taking advantage of it right now.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Chloe, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I know the school board members are going to be so happy to see that, as every high school, we have exceptional students. Right. Thank you. We are several weeks into what might be seen as an unprecedented experiment.
The school year is underway in Webster Parish, and like every other school system in America, we're dealing with the complicated issue of how to keep educating our kids and at the same time keep them safe. We've had positive cases in quarantines, and the truth is it could stay this way or even get worse. But no matter what comes our way, this school district is, not will be, but is ready. COVID-19 is a profoundly disruptive force, but there seems to have been little consideration that it might be permanently disruptive, that the virus might change public education as we have known it forever. Perhaps change it, though, for the better. Reformers speak of the opportunity to rethink not just the educational model, but the goal of education itself. They advocate new approaches that in the long run could be more effective and, for the taxpayer, less expensive. But what about the teacher and the student? What about the boots on the ground? A study by the Urban Education Institute at the University of Texas at San Antonio of 2,000 public school students whose education had shifted online as the pandemic worsened last spring found that students were thriving and enjoyed the new interaction with teachers and peers, the creative project-based assignments that gave students autonomy and choice, and one-on-one time with teachers. On campus, classes are smaller, and as a result, the teacher has more time per student. Costs could be learned long-term, and the strain of physical resources could be eased. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to this, of course. There are concerns, and they are legitimate. What about social? What about getting to know your friends, your classmates, making that one-on-one human connection? It's difficult to do over a computer screen. However, the path of the education in the future is long and strewn with pitfalls. And in many cases, we won't know what works until it does. There are issues to work out. Every day, every minute, we come up with new ones and new problems. But again, this is an unprecedented experiment. Results could be disappointing, but they might also produce a brighter future for our children amid the post-pandemic society that they'll inherit. But again, no matter what comes our way, Webster schools are, not will be, but are, ready, and we will continue to be ready.